It's time for the School Spotlight on the Rockingham Radio Network, and we're going to focus on the Goodland Junior High School this time. And Marty Lehman, the activities director, is with us today. Your calendar is busy. I understand that you've got some calendar activity completed. Let's hear about that.
You bet, Curtis. Thanks for having me. We were in the process of scheduling our next cycle, which ends, our present cycle ends at the end of this school year. So we scheduled the next 2-year cycle, and Wednesday was our big day for high school football in the state of Kansas. All of the athletic directors met in a big room in Salina Wednesday. So got all that taken care of and everything. So our schedule for the next 2 years is out, and not much on our schedule has really changed. Our districts ended up being the same. So our first 2 games, of course, are nice little rivalries with Ray and Burlington, and then we're going to welcome back an MCL opponent in Oakley for week 3. We've been playing Lakin High School, which is in the High Plains League, a couple hours south of here, and we had a league school that lost a week 3 that they were playing an Oklahoma school, and that Oklahoma school couldn't play them, so we just kind of swapped and took off some miles on the buses. It's what we did, really. And so we'll be playing Jeff Hennick and Oakley Plainsman on week 3. And then we start district play with Holcomb. And then on week 5 is our bye in our district. And we're going to be playing a league school in Ulysses, which is a 4A. So they're never going to be in our district. And Ulysses will actually be the homecoming for next year. So October 4th for you 50-year graduates, plan on October 4th being the weekend you're in Goodland.
And that's for next year.
That's for the 24 school year. And then I can actually give you the 25 homecoming is going to be against Oakley on the 19th of September in 2025. So if you're into getting cheap tickets for the 2025 homecoming, get on those flight apps now and get them booked.
Get that done.
Absolutely. Is
that meeting a pretty good, calm meeting with all?
Sometimes it depends on whether or not you guess the districts right. Sometimes it can get pretty hectic. We had a league school 2 years ago that left without 2 games, and that's never good. And they ended up having to go to Oklahoma, down by Tulsa, actually, from Scott City to Tulsa, to the Tulsa area. And then they picked one up. They got lucky and picked another one up here in central Kansas. So.
Do we have any big tournaments coming to Goodland in the next couple of years, sub-state or anything like that?
They never announced that till the season of. So we've had, in the last 2 years, we've had a lot of stuff. We've had postseason basketball, postseason volleyball. We hosted regional cross country last year. We hosted regional tennis last year. This year we are hosting our regional golf tournament. That's actually Monday. So if you have something to write with, Curtis, our tee time's actually on Monday. We're going to do tee times just like they do at state. Sheridan Townsend is going to tee off of hole 1 at 8 o'clock. Marie Martin is going to tee off of hole 1 at 8:10. Natalie Cure is going to be off of hole 1 at 20 after 8:20. Let's see here. What else do we have? Our next one's Bree Carmichael is going to tee off of hole 1 at 8:40. And then our final 2 is going to be Allie Cure is going to tee off at 9:10 off of hole 1. And then Tori Jones, our 1 golfer, is going to tee off. She'll be part of the last group at 9:20 off hole 1. So all of our cowgirls will tee off of hole 1, just different times, and be about 10 minutes apart.
That's good. That's bringing a lot of schools in, isn't it?
Yeah, the golf course is awesome. They work with us so well. We've hosted a lot of postseason stuff out there, and including our cross country meet last year, and they work with us really well. And we're the only 18-hole course that's kind of up in this area, unless you get to Hayes, so to get some of these schools to come up here, we have people from Pretty Prairie coming, Larnard, Nickerson's got some kids coming. So there's some people that'll be out here to play a practice round, probably either Saturday afternoon or Sunday. So they're staying in our hotels, and anytime you can get postseason stuff, it's awesome. It's just awesome. It's awesome for our kids to have that advantage as well.
And Sunday looks good, about 70, and then Monday, of course, Columbus Day, sunny and 75 right now. So that's just right.
Hopefully the wind will stay down, but then at the same time, the wind being up helps these Western Kansas kids a lot. So sometimes that wind will actually help your as far as your placings.
This is, hey, we're used to it.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Well, good luck to our team, and safe travel to the teams coming in to visit Goodland on Sunday, and then, of course, Monday, the regional golf. That'll be fun. The past homecoming football game is done. The dance is finished, and everything went off without a hitch.
Absolutely. We smashed a Ford Expedition that one of our kids had an accident in when he was, I think, a freshman or a sophomore. So we painted it purple and gold, Lakin colors, and our Stuco did a great job with that and smashed it with a hammer all week long. And anybody interested in that, I think the G Club, maybe, I think it is the club that's raffling that expedition off. So if you need something to go coyote hunting in, contact the G Club meeting or a member and buy a ticket to maybe win it. I don't know. They came to me and asked me that, and I thought, well, who's going to want that? But some farm kid will finish tearing it up and have a great time with it.
There has to be something in there.
Yeah. And then, congratulations to Jaxie Michek and Manny Gonzalez for the King and Queen, and we hope to have them back next year to crown the next group.
It's always exciting for homecoming and for the, what we called in basketball when I was growing up, Queen of Courts.
Sure.
So that's big stuff for basketball.
Oh, yeah.
How are we doing student-wise? Do we have new students? Doesn't Keisha have a hard count day you have to?
Yeah, we turned in our count to Keisha on September 20th. We turned in 277 kids in the high school, and that's up 7 from the year before. We'll stay in 3A and everything except for wrestling. They kind of do wrestling a little different. They count just the schools that perform in wrestling and that have the sport, and some of our bigger schools in our state don't do that. So we've got a pretty good possibility of being 4A in wrestling, and we've been right on the line the last couple years of that and bumped up to 4A. So I forecast that that's where we'll be this year too. So, and then I'm sorry, Curtis, but as far as our district is concerned, we're down, but we're down 24 kids total. So, not a killer, and definitely not the average of Western Kansas these days. We're still above that as far as losing kids. It seems like a lot of our smaller schools, you and Ross, you talk to a lot of the 6-man football team schools, and everything's shrinking up, and kind of sad in these days times that has to happen. But
it is. Does that create problems in getting referees and officials for ball games when you have a smaller schools, smaller teams?
Yeah, because some of those smaller schools, and we're one of the biggest leagues as far as population in this part of the state. So a lot of guys and gals want to work our games, but schools like Weskin, Brett Clough there, and schools of that size, they do struggle, and they probably struggle, Curtis, more in the fall. And you and I were talking about this earlier. They struggle a little bit more in the fall and the spring, just because of what we do out here in Western Kansas, and that's no fault to anybody. But I have great officials, but unfortunately they run elevators and they farm. So it's just harder for our league commissioner to book them this time of year, and then in the spring when they're planting corn and getting the irrigation wells going and things like that. So, but we get by, but basketball seems to be probably the easiest, basketball and wrestling, and I kind of blame it on agriculture. But what a great place to live and deal. If that's my biggest problem, I'll deal with it.
Yes, that'll work well. Bus drivers, paraprofessionals, are you loaded with those?
Always in need of them.
Always
in need of them.
Still?
Paras are, yeah. They kind of come and go sometimes. And bus drivers do the same, but we're always in need of bus drivers. I think we might be looking for a maintenance person. I'm not sure on that. I know we were a month or so ago. So, if you're interested, please contact Bill Bierman at the school district.
Yeah, he'd be happy to visit, and bus drivers with the correct license.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, a lot of people think to drive a bus you have to have you have to be licensed with air brakes, and you don't. Most of our route buses don't have air brakes, so just our buses that go over the road. You know.
Now, when you schedule the different activities, do you also schedule buses for them? Because
Absolutely.
sometimes
Yeah.
Suburbans will work better than a
Sure.
bus.
For example, you know, we started regional tennis this morning. We have 5 girls, 6 girls. We took 6 girls and a coach. So yeah, they bailed in a van and drove up to Phillipsburg, and regionals should be underway here in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So, you know, our golf always travels in that. Sometimes our cross country will travel in that too, as we narrow our team down for regionals and things. But we still have those big coaches that haul football teams and basketball teams and things like that.
And it looks nice. I've noticed that a lot of the schools, they have different big buses, but they all look nice when they roll into town.
Yeah.
I see them coming through town or going away from town, or different St. Francis,
Sure,
and
sure.
Weston and Sharon Springs and Burlington, and all the different buses. They look
When
nice.
when we hosted our cross country meet out at the golf course in September, there was a retired couple, and they were from the Gainesville, Florida area. And they just pulled in to play golf for the day, and they asked me what I was doing. And anyway, long story short, they decided that they were going to stick around and watch our cross country meet.
Oh,
So they made dinner and right there by the finish line. It was awesome. It was great to have them. And after we were done, one of them asked me, he's like, "God, how rich are the school districts out in western Kansas?" And I said, "Well, we're not really any richer than your district in Florida, I'm sure." She goes, "Well, all the buses are just tremendous looking buses." And I said, "You know, we spend up to 3 to 3.5 hours on those buses for one trip to a league school. You know, Hugoton's 3 hours away and Cimarron's 3 hours away. So, and then sometimes, of course, we go to Hutchinson, fortunately, or we have a regional a long ways away. So, yeah, we have nice buses, but you know, they're internet capable. Our coaches do study tables on the buses. Our kids spend a lot of time on them, but they're very productive for us.
well, they're safe.
Absolutely.
They're good-looking buses,
Yes,
so we
they are.
appreciate it. For not just the Goodland bus drivers, but all the bus drivers throughout the listening community. Thank you, and all those that keep the buses in good shape. That's a job.
It is. You know, we've got a new transportation director this year. Brett Jarman has gotten involved and doing a good job organizing, and kind of runs him. I kind of run him crazy every once in a while, but he's doing a great job, and our seasons have gone well in that regard.
Well, that's what it takes.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
You know, we've got a couple big things coming up. You know, we've got, of course, that regional golf tournament on Monday of next week. Senior night for our volleyball girls is on Tuesday night. So we've got a triangular volleyball matches next Tuesday in the Max and in the auxiliary gym, and that'll be our senior night. And then our senior night for football is going to be, and we always take our tennis players through that. Our band members and our cheerleaders will do their senior night on our last football game, which is a week from today against Scott City. So come out and send those. Hopefully, we can send those seniors out right.
Time flies. Are we in the second 6 weeks yet?
Yeah, we're into the second 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Yeah. Actually, the end of the first quarter will be coming up on the 19th. So we're getting there. We had parent-teacher conferences last week, and we're well into the school year. You know, believe it or not, I sent out a D form, which is a form that I send out prior to any events that I host, and I sent out my first basketball D form yesterday. So our junior high basketball girls get their seasons going here on October 26th here at home. So hard to believe it's coming, but it's coming.
Do we use the old gymnasium in the Goodland School much?
We do. Are you talking about the one in the high school? Yeah, we do. We practice in it a lot. We have a lot of our youth kids, especially when we get into the winter for basketball. A lot of our youth kids we'll book that from the time school's out until 8:00 at night with little 3rd and 4th grade or 5th and 6th grade kids come in, and that's where they practice. And it's still being very well used. As far as competition, every once in a while I will, when I have a big Saturday morning, you know, junior high, I have 4 or 5 teams in here. we'll spread out to 3 floors, and we'll use it then, for some of our play.
Always work.
It's an awesome gym, man. I'd like to have seen that when it was full of kids back in the 60s or 50s. I'm guessing that was probably a pretty deafening gym to be in.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, very lively.
Absolutely. As I think all of them probably were. It's fun to go places, and most of the time now they're auxiliary gyms. But it's fun to go places and think about who was on this floor and what it was like back in those days.
Well, the old Grant Junior High School gym was quite a nice gym too in its time.
I never had the fortune to step in there, but you go to those places where there's the line and it's just a cracker box gym. It's kind of like you step back into the movie Hoosiers for a little bit, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us. And what's the website people can go to stay up on everything?
We put Cowboy information, which is a document that lets people know what's kind of going on in our school. I update that as I fill it in, as I sign contracts and do all of our scheduling. You can find that on our website along with all of the information about any school in our district. That website is usd352.org. Go to that. On the main page, you can click on Cowboy information, or you can click on, West School, West Elementary, Central, of course North, and then of course the junior senior high school, and we'll give you all that information about anything going on in Goodland High School or Goodland School District.
USD352.org.
Yes, sir.
Marty Lehman, thank you for being with us. Good luck to students, and not only the Goodland schools, but all the area schools. I hope you do well this fall.
Absolutely. Thank you, and go Cowgirls and Cowboys.